But I, wretched man that I am, had the bravest in all Troy for my sons, and there is not one of them left. I had 50 sons, and the Grecians came here. 19 of them were from a single womb, and the others were born to me by the women of my household. Part of them was fierce Ares, laid low, and Hector, him who was alone left, him who was the guardian of the city, and ourselves, him that you have lately slain. Therefore I am now come to the ships of the Grecians to ransom his body from you, a great ransom. Fear, O Achilles, the wrath of heaven. Think on your own father, and have compassion upon me, whom am the more pitiable. For I have steeled myself, as no one yet has ever steeled himself before me, and have raised to my lips the hand of him who slew my son. Thus spoke Priam in the heart of Achilles, yearned as he bethought him of his father. He took the old man's hand and moved him gently away. The two wept bitterly, Priam as he lay at Achilles' feet, weeping for Hector, and Achilles now for his father, now for Patroclus, till the house was filled with their lamentation. But when Achilles was now sated with grief, and unburdened the bitterness of his sorrow, he left his seat and raised the old man by the hand in pity for his white hair and beard. Then he said, Unhappy man, you have indeed been greatly daring. How could you venture to come alone to the ships of the Grecians and enter with the presence of him who had slain so many of your brave sons? You must have iron courage. Sit now upon the seat, and for all our grief we will hide our sorrows in our hearts, for weeping will not avail us. The mortals know no care, yet the lot they spend for man is full of sorrow. On the floor of Zeus's palace there stands two urns, the one filled with evil gifts, and the other with good ones. He for whom Zeus, the Lord of Thunder, mixes the gifts he sends will meet now with God, and now with evil fortune. But he to whom Zeus sends none but evil gifts will be pointed at the finger of the scorn. The hand of famine will pursue him to the ends of the world, and he will go up and down the face of the earth, respected neither by gods nor men. Even so did all Peleus. The gods endowed him with all good things from birth upwards, for he reigned over the Myrmidons, excelling all men in prosperity and wealth. And immortal though he was, they gave him a goddess for his bride. But even on him too did heaven send misfortune, for there is no race of royal children born to him in his house, save one son who is doomed to die all untimely. Nor may I take care of him now that he is growing old, for I must stay here at Troy to be the bane of you and your children. And you too, O Priam, I have heard that you were aforetime happy. They say that in wealth and plenitude of offspring you surpass all that is in Lesbos, the realm of Macar, to the northward, Phrygia, that is more inland, and those that dwell on the great Hellesponts. But from the day when the dwellers in heaven sense this evil upon you, war and slaughter have been about your city continually. Bear up against it, and let there be some intervals in your sorrow. Mourn as you may for your brave son, you will take nothing by it. You cannot raise him from the dead, ere do so, yet another sorrow shall befall you. And Priam answered, O king, bid me not be seated while Hector is still lying uncared for in your tents, but accept the great ransom which I have brought you, and give him to me at once, that I may look upon him. May you prosper with the ransom, and reach your own land in safety, seeing that you have suffered me to live, and to look upon the light of the sun. Achilles looked at him sternly, and said, Vex me, sir, no longer I am of myself minding to give up the body of Hector. My mother, daughter of the old man of the sea, came to me from Zeus to bid me deliver it to you. Moreover, I know well, O Priam, and cannot hide it, and that some god has brought you to the ships of the Grecians, or else no man, however strong in his prime, would dare to come to our host. He could neither pass our guard unseen, nor draw the bolts of my gates thus easily. Therefore provoke me no further, lest I sin against the word of Zeus, and suffer you not suppliant though you are within my tents. The old man feared him and obeyed. The son of Peleus sprang like a lion through the door of his house, not alone, but with him went his two squires, Archimedon and Apamenes, who were closer to him than any other of his comrades. Now that Patroclus was no more, these unyoked the horses and mules, and bade Priam's herald and attendant be seated within the house. They lifted the ransom for Hector's body from the wagon. They left two mantles and goodly shirt, and Achilles might wrap the body in them, that he gave it to be taken home. Then he called to his servants and ordered them to wash the body and anoint it, that he first took it to a place where Priam should not see it, lest if he did so, he should break out in the bitterness of his grief and rage Achilles, who might then kill him, and sin against the word of Zeus. When the servants had washed the body and anointed it, and had wrapped it in a fair shirt mantle, Achilles himself lifted it onto the pyre, and he and his men then laid it onto the wagon. He cried aloud as he did so, and called on the name of his dear comrade, Be not angry with me, Patroclus, he cried, if you hear even in the house of Hades that I have given Hector to his father for a ransom, has been no unworthy one, and I shall share it with you equitably with you. Achilles then went back into the tent, and took his place on the richly inlaid seat, from which he had risen by the wall that was at right angles to the one against which Priam was sitting. Sir, he said, your son is now laid upon his bier, and ransomed according to desire. You shall look upon him, and you will take him away at daybreak. For the present let us prepare our supper. Even lovely Niobe had to think about eating, though her 12 children, 6 daughters, and 6 lusty sons had been all slain in her house. Apollo killed the sons of Eros from his silver bow to punish Niobe. Leto, she said Leto had borne 2 children only, whereas she had herself weltering, and there was none to bury them. For the son of Cronus turned the people into stone, but on the 10th day the gods in heaven themselves buried them, and Niobe then took food from being worn out with weeping. They say that somewhere among the rocks of the mountain pastures, Cyplius, where the nymphs live that haunt the river Achelous, there they say she lives in stone and still nurses in sorrows sent upon her by the hand of heaven. Therefore, noble sir, let us too now take food. You can weep for your dear son hereafter, as you are bearing him back to Ilium, and many a tear will be cost you. With this Achilles sprang from his seat into a sheep of silvery whiteness, and his followers, skinned and made already then in all due order, they cut the meat carefully up into smaller pieces, spitted them, and drew them on off again, and were well roasted. Archimedon brought bread in the fair baskets and served it round the table, while Achilles dealt out the meat as they laid their hands on good things that were before them. As soon as they had enough to eat and drink, Priam descended to Dardanus, marveled at strength and beauty of Achilles, for he was a god to deceive, and Achilles marveled at Priam as he listened to him and looked upon his noble presence. When they gazed their fill, Priam spoke first. And now, O king, he said, take me to my couch, that we may lie down and enjoy the blessed boon of sleep. Never once have my eyes been closed from the day your hand took the life of my son. I have grovelled without ceasing in the mere of my stable yard, making moan and brooding over my countless sorrows. Now, moreover, I have eaten bread and drunk wine. Hitherto I have tasted nothing As he spoke, Achilles told his men and his women servants to set beds in the room that was in the gatehouse and make them with good red rugs, and spread coverlets on the top of them with the woolen cloaks for Priam and Idas to wear. So maids went out carrying a torch and got the 2 beds ready in all haste. Then Achilles said laughingly to Priam, "Dear sir, you shall lie outside, lest some counselor of those who in due course keep coming to advise with me should see you here in the darkness of the flying night until Agamemnon. This might cause delay in the delivery of the body. And now tell me, and tell me true, for how many days will you celebrate the funeral rites of noble Hector? Tell me that I may hold aloof from war and restrain the host." And Priam answered, "Since then you suffer me to bury me, my noble son, with all due rights, do thus Achilles, and I shall be grateful. You know how we are pent up within our city. It is far for us to fetch wood from the mountain, and the people live in fear. 9 days therefore we will mourn Hector in my house. On the 10th day we will bury him, and there shall be a public feast in his honor. On the 11th we will build a mound over the ashes, and on 12th, if there be need, we will fight." And Achilles answered, "O King Priam, shall be as you have said. I will stay fighting for as long as the time as you have named." As he spoke, he laid his hand on old man's right wrist, in token that he should have no fear. Thus then did Priam and his attendants sleep there in the forecourt full of thought, while Achilles lay in an inner room of the house, with fair Briseis by his side. And now both gods and mortals were fast asleep, though the livelong night, but upon Hermes alone, the bringer of good luck, sleep could take no hold, for he was thinking all the time how to get King Priam away from the ships without his being seen by the strong force of sentinels. He hovered therefore over Priam's head and said, "Sir, now that Achilles has spared your life, you seem to have no fear about sleeping in the thick of your foes. You have paid a great ransom and have reached the body of your son."